I actually found out the other day that I am a Guinness World Record holder for the youngest superhero in a movie.
Tom Holland didn't hit the Hollywood scene so much as he smashed into it like a particularly charismatic meteor. From his jaw-dropping performance of Rihanna's Umbrella as part of The Tonight Show's lip-sync battle to his wholesome and wholehearted performance as Peter Parker, he's taken the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the world at large by storm. But for all the speed and sparkle of his ride to the top, there's still a lot we don't know about the actor we're all gearing up to watch quip, kick and thwip his way through Avengers, Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home. In today's video, we're going over some untold moments about Tom Holland that isn't so much out in the public. Number 10. He doesn't like being apart from his dog. For all its riches and amusements, fame does come with one especially difficult sacrifice for Holland. Time with his beloved dog Tessa. Pictures of the blue Staffordshire Bull Terrier flood his Instagram, from photos of her dressed as a fairy to her welcoming him home. He was with her, in fact, when he learned he'd snagged the role of Spider-Man from Marvel's official Instagram, followed by a more proper call from Kevin Feige, and she accompanied him on the red carpet. Sadly, the life of an actor just isn't suited to a dog accustomed to the easier rhythms of family life, and so he must resort to FaceTime to see her when he's on the road or gazing at a painting of her sweet grey mug his parents commissioned for him. When he does manage to make his way home, he spends as much time as possible with her, to the point of waking up beside her. Hopefully, wherever Holland's journey takes him next, it leaves room for the dog he calls his angel.
There we go.
Number 9. He's close to his brothers. The kind of life change Holland has experienced never just changes one life. Indeed, entire families are often swept up in the rush towards success and sudden extreme visibility, and the Hollands are no exception. One particular amusing manifestation of this came towards the end of 2018, when, according to Dominic Holland, the balance of power within the home revealed itself as very different indeed. His sons, Sam and Harry, enjoying a trip abroad, found themselves without cash, and, rather than expose their predicament to their father, called up their brother Tom for some financial assistance. They ended up so flush, Dominic notes, they hired jet skis. But it's not all fun and games in the Holland household. The brothers have taken advantage of their new circumstances to set up the Brothers Trust, which aims to support worthy charities through monetary donations and visibility efforts. So far, the trust has supported organizations including the Lunch Bowl Network for Children in Nairobi's Kibera slum, Deborah, which supports sufferers of epidermolysis bullosa, and Momentum, a charity based out of Kingston Hospital where the brothers were born.
Surprised Dad in Edinburgh.
That was massive.
And we have a video of that, which we've never...
Number 8. He realized that he wanted to be an actor before Spider-Man. Despite his early experiences with the performing arts through his parents, his enrollment in dance classes, his career on the West End, and his seemingly swift rise to the top of the Hollywood food chain, Holland didn't actually know he wanted to be an actor until a handful of years ago. When I was in Billy, I always knew that I wanted to do something in performing, Holland said in 2012 after filming The Impossible. I always knew that I wanted to have a future in the performing arts. I had no idea that it was going to be acting in movies. He's gone on to cite The Impossible's critical success and his role in it as a key moment in his journey, the one that solidified acting and film as his place in the showbiz firmament. Though this might seem to put him at a disadvantage compared to actors who have been training from childhood and occasionally even infancy, in many ways, it's a strength. He brings a fresh perspective, a lack of entitlement, and a connection to the world beyond the spotlight that he is passionate about maintaining.
What kind of superhero would I want to play? Maybe Spider-Man in like 10 years' time.
Number 7. He has an enormous work ethic. In many ways, Peter Parker and Tom Holland are similar people. Both the web-slinger and the eager young actor are hard workers with an earnest and obvious passion for what they do. Holland has, as established, deeply held ambitions of growing as an actor and hopefully stepping behind the camera someday as well. But, as he told co-stars Zendaya in Interview magazine, on Spider-Man, I would just try to outwork everyone. He prefaces this by naming his work ethic as his greatest strength, and his resume already backs him up. He's game to get to set early, stay there late, and go the distance for marketing efforts.
She did everything for me growing up when I was going for auditions, and she was the one that was like, you gotta stretch if you want to be in Billy Elliot.
Number 6. He hasn't lived a normal life in years. Holland never expected to reach the peaks of fame he's already conquered, let alone before he even hit his mid-20s. But it really can't be emphasized enough that up until Captain America: Civil War, in which Holland made his debut as Spider-Man and frankly stole the show with his dynamism and humor, he really thought he'd go on living the life he'd always led. Interviews done to promote the impossible reveal a 16-year-old Holland still certain he's going to go back home to Kingston and finish up high school while continuing to pursue his dreams on the side.
I did everything I was allowed to do. You know, sometimes with these stunts they're too dangerous and that's why the pros have to come in and do it.
Yeah.
Number 5. He's skeptical of fame's extreme highs. Hollywood can, as even the most dreamy observer could tell you, be a place of extreme lows. Shattered dreams and low-level gigs aren't just a threat to every would-be actor crowding its avenues, but a likelihood. The highs are, in contrast, desperately sought after, yet often just as dangerous. Holland, experiencing the kind of success most aspirants only dream of, is intensely aware of this and eager to head it off at the pass. The terrible thing about being famous, he told Shortlist, is you start to believe it. People tell you you're fantastically wonderful all the time, and you start to think you're incredible. I'm just a kid from Kingston.
It was a great experience to be able to use your surroundings to influence your performance. And also, I was 13 at the time and I got to learn how to scuba dive.
Number 4. He's extremely organized. We've established that Holland is a goofy kind of guy. There doesn't seem to be an exclamation point he isn't down to double. He's ready to slap on some vinyl shorts and perform Rihanna's Umbrella with the best of them, and he can find the humor in having to drink through a straw that someone else must operate for him. But it's not all fun and games. He's got serious ambitions, and he's structured them into attainable goals. The 20-year goal is to be a film director, he told The Hollywood Reporter. The 15-year-old goal is to win an Oscar. The 5-year-old goal is to just keep enjoying myself. He goes on to detail his role models, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Meryl Streep, and to detail the kind of career-defining challenges he'd like to take on. One thing is emphasized over and over again. He wants to be big, he's ready to work for it, and he has a plan as to how he's going to accomplish it. For a kid from Kingston as eager to make silly videos for his Instagram account as he is to expound upon the craft of acting, this seriousness isn't necessarily expected, but it is welcome. Holland knows what it takes to have staying power in show business, and he's eager to show he can handle it.
I did so much research into this movie that, you know, I learned so much about the character, but, you know, from that he gets married to Mary Jane.
Number 3. He can't drink on his own in the Spider-Man costume. There are few superhero costumes as iconic as Spider-Man. That's one of the reasons it hasn't changed much since its introduction in 1962. From the bold color scheme to the dramatically flared eyes, it was a classic from the moment it debuted. After decades of history, the suit is daunting indeed for any newcomer. But it's not just a figurative burden, it's an entirely literal one. In an interview with Shortlist, Holland revealed that it did not occur to the crew that he'd need a way to drink in the suit, resulting in a complex solution. A hole was drilled in the eye of the mask, a tube is fed through, and an assistant squeezes water through into Holland's mouth.
Like, thing that I pull out, and then I put a squeezy tube down into my mouth, and then I can drink from a bottle.
Number 2. He grew up surrounded by the arts, but success was a fluke. You wouldn't guess it from his online presence. A cursory glance at his Instagram reveals an excitable reverence for absolutely every novel experience fame has brought him. But Tom isn't the first famous Holland, nor the only one who's worked as a creative professional. His father, Dominic, is a comedian, broadcaster, and author, and his mother, Nicola Elizabeth, is a photographer. Despite early exposure to performance and his enrollment in a weekly dance class, Tom's ascent has been described by his father as a fluke. Before Tom's role in Billy Elliot, Dominic said in a radio interview, "There's been no stage school, there's been no drama lessons. He had no training." When Tom's agent proposed putting together an audition tape for Marvel, family was roundly skeptical. Now that the impossible has happened, however, the Holland family credits this unlikely trajectory as the source of Tom's down-to-earth nature. Given how much his brothers reportedly tease him, combined with Dominic's publication of a book entitled How Tom Holland Eclipsed His Dad, it's likely that his easygoing demeanor isn't going anywhere.
The further and further I got with the audition process, the more and more I wanted the job.
Number 1. He was the target of bullies. Holland's been dancing since he was in diapers. "I used to dance to this Janet Jackson song my mother would play when I was a baby," he recounted to The Hollywood Reporter, which prompted her to enroll him in a weekly dance class for children. He took to it immediately, throwing himself into everything from ballet to hip-hop with feverish intensity. Though this was the first step on the road to becoming Spider-Man, it was also something schoolyard bullies were quick to leap on. These were some rough patches, he told People magazine, but you couldn't hit me hard enough to stop me from doing it. It is this relentless pursuit of his passion that pushed him to audition for the titular role in the West End production of Billy Elliot, that got him doing backflips in his audition tapes for Marvel, and ultimately gave him experience in being an underdog, dedicated to overcoming his limitations, something he now credits as a key inspiration in his performance as Peter Parker. I, like Peter, accepted I wasn't the cool kid at school, he mused, and just found my group of friends and got on with it. If you guys enjoyed today's super video, then like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. See you all next time, and goodbye.